This episode of the Survivor Side Story podcast is going to be about why Survivor is harder to win than it is Killer. Okay? And I just want people to understand this. I am not a hater of all killers. I'm not even really... I guess I hate the entitlement, hypocritical mindset that, you know, only survivors have an arbitrary rule book versus killer mains who pretend that they don't have silly rule books and silly things that survivors cannot do or is unfair. But they speak about survivors and, you know, new perks that we get, which is every now and then that is fun to use. And pretty much you already know they're going to nerf it right away. You know what I mean? Versus Killer, you know, they can have maps that's we work for them. They can have perks that are just stay around, like slowdowns and boring killers like the Skull Merchant and the Night Players and stuff like that. I kind of just want to talk about some things and talk about some interesting stories. So if you are new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. I always recommend people to listen to these podcast episodes, whether you're at work, if you're driving. You know, this is not something that you need to look at. You can just listen to. I've been doing this for a little bit now, and I understand that it's not really, I don't know if I should make like a different channel. That way it's not really hurting what I've been doing as far as like my algorithm, because YouTube is a little bit weird with that. But I love being able to make these because I can make these pretty fast. It's not that I'm lazy with editing, and it's not that, oh, well, I just don't have enough time, so now I'm being lazy. It's more like this is just how my content really is. You know, a lot of times when I make these episodes or when I was doing video, I would put like gameplay behind it, but I would still be talking like this. And a lot of the times what you see on the screen wasn't really related to what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. Like if I'm talking about Survivor versus Killer or how to get better at whatever. Now, if I'm making a video about how to get better at Survivor, then yes, I'm going to specifically put things in that video, right, that is related to what I'm talking about. Same thing with how to play against certain killers. I'm going to obviously make like a tutorial video. If I'm just like sort of ranting, I'd rather it just be about this. Plus, if you got YouTube Premium, which I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, but if you have YouTube Premium, you can like play this with the screen locked on your phone. You can just listen when you're at work. So I do recommend this, right? All right, so moving on. I kind of got about like maybe 5 things I want to talk about as to why Survivor is a bit harder than it is for Killer. And I'm talking about pipping. I'm talking about learning how to last longer in chase, how to try to increase your chases within like a minute or so. If your chase is at least a minute, that's a pretty good chase, right? Because I want to say gens are now like a minute and 30 seconds. So before, gens was like a minute and 20 seconds because that was like 80 seconds, right? You know, obviously a minute is 60 seconds. At 20, that's 80 seconds. But if your chase is going to last at least a minute most of the time, or at least in half the time, you're doing pretty good, right? Understand this too. At a certain level, you won't get lucky in chases. Like when I first started playing, you know, I was like dog shit in chase. But at some point, I started to get better and started understanding how to mind game, and it took a while. It took like over a year. I won't lie to you. Like, and there were still things I had to like understand about, like check spots, which is more of what you'll see in the comp scene. That's like more of an elite, high level of gameplay, because there are certain things. And I'm gonna get into that. But I just want you to understand that I am not trying to knock killers for how hard it is to go against good survivors such as myself. And you can imagine if I actually had, like, I play in solo queue all the time. Like, I'm like 100% of the time. I do not play with people. So I can't even say it's most of the time. It's all the time that I play with randos. And, like, I just got through playing a game like 15 minutes ago. And it was just very frustrating that, you know, I'm in Batham against a Xenomorph. And I'm talking about literally, bro, like, y'all do not understand like, listen, if you are not a Survivor man, you are a Killer man, or you are a neuro survivor and you just don't know how to, you do not understand the pain it is to loop a killer for at least a minute or so, or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, just to still see that no one's on gens. Like, it is so frustrating. Okay, but let me kind of talk about some things real fast. So I'm going to talk about looping for a while. I'm going to talk about low hours. I'm going to talk about the horror that is solo queue, the pipping, and I'm talking about not playing enough of the other side, which is Killer, and vice versa. I feel like if you're gonna be a killer, if you're gonna be a Killer main, the better way to do it too is just play Survivor, so that way you can understand what we see and how we move, etc. Right? Let me talk about looping for a bit. Okay. There are a lot of Survivor mains. They watch a lot of good Survivor mains that are on YouTube, that are on Twitch, TikTok, making these clips, flashbangs. Like Vicky. If you guys know who Vicky Valiant, if I said her name wrong, I do apologize. She's very cool. I hung out in her chat before. She's very good at flashbangs. I'm sure you guys watch JRM, Probs, Aaron. These are pretty good Survivor mains, right? Old Tofu, if he plays Survivor, but most of the time he plays Killer, so you probably wouldn't want to call him a Killer main. I mean, not a Survivor main. He's mostly a Killer main or whatever. And if you watch my clips and my videos, right, I'm not as fancy as those guys. I mean, yeah, I love a good fun chase, but I don't really try to go for a lot of text. I mean, I've done most of them. I just don't really care to, and I don't stream as I used to. But even back when I was streaming, I wasn't as good as a Survivor that I am now. So I just wouldn't count that. But I will say that it is not easy to understand how to loop for a while. And I want y'all to understand this. When you are a newer Survivor with low hours, I'm going to get into that too, as far as like the hours and how important that can come into play. When you are a brand new Survivor and you're looking at a killer man who is already faster than you, or just a killer in general that's faster than you, and you know he's coming to you, and all you see is pallets and windows, and you're taught, okay, try to separate yourself from the killer by throwing down a pallet. You don't know how long that killer has been playing. That killer probably is not even that brand new. Probably have a little bit of experience. But even so, the killer is still faster than you. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to panic anyway because you don't know what you're doing. You probably just started playing the game. With DBD, there's no real tutorial. There's no real way of actually understanding how to play the game. They even have a tutorial part where you'll be a Dwight and there's a Meg, which is the AI, and then there's the AI of the Trapper. And they'll show you how to work a generator, throw down a pallet, open up the gate, and that's it. That's it. That's all they show you. Like literally, that's if you really want to know how to play this game, you have to go to the community. I was lucky in the beginning when I found some friends, right? So I've learned about this game when I was at Panera Bread, I want to say 3 years ago now. And he told me to just start off with David. He said David was like one of the best survivors in the game because of his perks, Dead Hard, which was the old version of Dead Hard that killer mains really hate. They really hated that one. Dead Hard for distance, gaining a little bit extra time. Even if you were a new survivor, you had access to Dead Hard. So even if you, quote unquote, Dead Hard for distance, it was only a matter of time that survivor's going to make a common mistake that most newer survivors going to make, right? Versus somebody like me who hardly ever really used Dead Hard. I mean, people can still use it now, but it's very rare. Some survivors use it. I don't really see it as used as often as the old one was. With the newer one, it's a little bit more condition based. You have to get unhooked, and then you gain it. You just don't get it for free anymore, right? But yeah, so that was basically what that was. But as you play this game, you'll learn that it doesn't matter what survivor you use. It's all about the hours into the game that you have and understanding, and you can pretty much use any perks as these are all teachables, right? For example, David was the very first survivor I played because I was told to, and then I said, well, you know what, I want like a faster survivor, so let me go ahead and get Meg, because I thought she was faster. Again, I'm new, so I don't know that these perks wasn't exclusive to that survivor, just like Killer, right? Basically, look at it like this. Survivor, and if you know this, obviously you know this, but there are newer people who probably just got the game like as I'm just talking. Like as soon as I started the podcast, they just loaded DBD. They just downloaded it, right? So they could be listening to this. It could be for them. What I want to say is that for killers are their powers, perks, and mechanics. I'm sorry, I apologize. Killers are their power, add-ons, and perks. Survivors are their skins. They're just skins, and their perks and items, right? So killers. If you're an Oni, you're not gonna move the same exact speed or same way as a trapper, right? Or a hag or whatever, right? And these killers are unique to their abilities. So they don't have items. You're not gonna see a bubble with a toolbox, right? So his add-ons would be like award-winning chili. I don't know, a guy, something like that, right? Where it's like these are the add-ons versus if I'm a Dwight, I can use like my add-ons are just the common toolbox, a med kit. Everybody has the same type of items and add-ons. As survivors, you have access to the same items and add-ons. Killers, they have access to all perks, as they have teachable perks as well, but they also specifically are their powers and add-ons. Right, so what I'm saying is that if you're gonna play Survivor, it doesn't matter which Survivor you use. I know people look at the popular Survivor as far as like, it's this rumor in the community. Well, if you play, give me 1 second. I thought for sure I plugged in myself. Give me 1 second. Because I just don't want this to die on me. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so for example, right? Damn, I ain't even gonna lie. I hate when I lose my train of thought, but I'm just gonna move on. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come back to me. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that so if you see somebody, like a lot of people in this community, they talk about, Megs are bad, and they're usually new, and it's probably because they're usually newer players. They were taught to just use Meg because she's fast. She has sprint burst, so they're gonna be walking a lot. They're gonna be probably trying to preserve their sprint bursts and stuff like that. If you are a Claudette, you're probably gonna be hiding and trying to heal constantly and stuff like that. These are newer player tendencies, right? So what I'm saying is that like, the reason why I compare it to a little bit as Killer is, as Killer, you just know to just chase people and just down and put them on hook. Kick a gen when you can and stuff like that. Now, just by me saying that does not mean that I am trying to disrespect the knowledge it takes to play Killer. But what I'm saying is that the difference between Killer and Survivor is that as Killer, you have more control of your outcome than you do as a single Survivor. Right? So the reason I bring up these Survivors, and let me just be clear, I'm going to finish my point, is that you can be a Nia, you can be a Fang, you can be an Ace. It will not matter. You still have to know what you're doing. You may get inspired in looking at a popular YouTuber within the DBD community as a Killer or a Survivor and just think, I can do that. It takes a lot of hours. I have 6K hours within 3 years in DBD. Like, I was no life in the game at some point. Because when I was living with family at a point in time, I had that amount of time. I had my tax money, I had my, PTO money, and I left my job, and I just said, that job was, irritating me anyway, and I just want to get to my YouTube partnership, because even though my channel is at a slow, whatever, it's still like a partnership that I still made it. Like just getting YouTube partnership was big for me. But understand, within that time, grinding the Prestige 100, there's a lot of, within solo queue, by the way, there was a lot of things that I learned in that game. There was a lot of stuff. And the reason why I'm telling people to play with people and look to the community is that this game does not teach you naturally how to play either side, right? They definitely don't tell you, like, they definitely don't have like a tutorial. At least I don't believe, I think they do. Yeah, they do. They do. I'm not going to say they don't. Like, they do. They have a tutorial part for Killer that you can play to understand what you need to do, but it's just not in depth. It's not in depth. It's so many perks and so many add-ons, and there's so many newer killers now and different powers and their add-ons, and and then at some point, you got people trying to learn, well, what is the best strategy to get a 4K? What is the best strategy to run? So here's the thing. For Survivor, when you are trying to learn Survivor and you seeing these people loop and all that stuff, you're thinking about what is the best strategy to run Killer for as long as possible. As Killer Man, you're thinking about what is the best solution to try to get a 4K or 3 to 4K as possible, right? Preferably, probably likely 4K. That's why Killer slug for the 4K. Even though they win at 3 kills, the game's over with. You're done. You won. You beat us. You're dominant. Whatever you want to be. Yet I still have to wait in the game. It's just the waiting part that irritates me, because it's just like, bro, get it over with. I have a life outside of DBD, believe it or not. Okay, but that's basically the most optimal strategy, is to try to think about how to get a 4K, which Killer is good at using a 4K, and as a Survivor main, which perks you can use, and learning about map structures, loop structures, TNL walls and stuff like that. So that's why I bring up looping, because again, they don't teach you a lot of this stuff as Survivor. They just don't. when I was playing with people and I was in solo queue and I met my guy named Phantom, even though I had some other people, even though he was with some other toxic people that I would never, I don't care how big or small I get in this community, ever acknowledge them in my life, ever. I could care less if they don't, I don't care if they don't know who I am or not, I could care less. Like, it's so crazy, like, this community, and I'm not trying to get off on a tangent, but this community, bro, I swear to God, man, like, just being brand new to the game, it's not, it's such a sad thing because you really got some people who just does not have patience. And a lot of them be children, like, a lot of them be teenagers, like, they just, like, you know what I'm saying, it's the internet, people just saying all kinds of stuff, but it's just like, yo, it's like every like, the entitlement and the rudeness of Survivor mains. And I tell these people, I say this all the time, people do not watch my content if they say stuff like, oh, I'm an entitled Survivor main. I get, anybody who watch me and listen to me knows I get on Survivor way harsher than I do killer mains. But the problem with killer mains is that it's like we can never critique killers. I can never, I would have to be a killer main to critique killer mains. And I would have to be a good killer main at that to say anything bad about killer mains. You know, I have to be one of them before I can ever be a Survivor main. No matter what I say, it would come off as crying. Oh, you're crying. Cry more. That's all they say. But again, it's just hilarious to me because the devs clearly listen to y'all crying more. That's why they made the 6.1.0 patch and changed the game forever. Like, I mean, it's why you can turn on the game right now and still see 100% blood point bonus. I say that a lot. I know. I'm sounding like a broken record, and I don't need to be fixed. Right? Like, it's so. I want people to understand. Like, there are, like, the people that I've met, the guy that I met, there was just a little bit of thing that he showed me that was very important. And it's the one thing, even though I got really good in chase, and who knows, I'm likely probably surpassed him as a Survivor main. But I promise you, the one thing that stuck with me forever that he said the chase, because he played both killer and Survivor. He got to iridescent 1, rank 1 when it was like the numbers and stuff. He got there on both sides. And he said, when it comes to like looping killer, the most important thing to do when you're in chase is to waste the killer's time. It's about, you can win the chase all you want, but it's about wasting the killer's time. Oftentimes, a lot of Survivor mains, they feel like they have to loop a certain way and they have to greed every single loop. Listen, let me tell you this right now, pimpin'. Girls and boys of Dead by Daylight Survivor mains, not every killer is going to play the same. Please stop losing chases because you overgreed. You're too greedy. Okay? Halloween is almost here. You're going to be that kid trying to get all the candy. Like, your little brother ain't got none in his bag, barely got some. You still trying to take his. Go sit down. Stop always overly greeding. Not every killer is stupid. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just feel like on both sides, people just don't want to hear harsh criticism. I don't understand why. I just don't get it. Could these be constructive? Like, I'm not calling anybody out personally as far as like them being good or bad. Like, I never once said somebody was a bad killer man or a bad survivor man. I might question their competition at times. I might question their video every now and then, their opponents. But I'm not questioning them as a person or even their skill. Like, you cannot play every killer the same. People talk about, oh, well, you drop Shaq Pallet, and I try to play Shaq Pallet as much as I can. You know, if the window block, I do what I can, but not every situation is going to be mapped out the same, right? Sometimes you just have, like, you can have a plan as Survivor, right? You can literally have a plan, right? And you can be like, okay, I'm finna run this build, I'm finna have windows, so I can see where, I can just see yellow everywhere, and I just know to go to yellow. It's that simple. It's easy. Let me have made for this because I was told to by a YouTuber on a video. Let me have made for this, even though I still don't know how to look behind me in chase. But hey, guess what? I have access to the, see, and a lot of times I try to tell killer this too. Like, perks alone will not help a Survivor main just by themselves. A good map with a lot of power is not going to help a lot of Survivor mains if they just still don't know what they're doing. As a killer, I'm sure you can tell who is the weaker link. If you go after me and chase 9 times out of 10, I'm going to waste your time, right? I mean, unless you just catch me with Lethal Pursuer and you catch me in the open zone, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, especially if I got a decent build, I bring us to a map. let's say, I don't know, Haddonfield, where, I got balanced landing and, all that stuff, I'm going to likely waste your time. But I try to tell people this. Perks alone will not save killer or survivor. You still have to have hours into the game and know what you're doing. But what I'm saying is, as far as like winning wise, killer alone, they don't have like you're not trapper and you're like, okay, I'm finna make sure I trap the basement, and then there's like blight upstairs trying to chase survivors, and then somehow the traps get untrapped or wherever like bear, like, you get what I'm saying. I hate when I sometimes trying to figure things what I'm trying to say and I like trip over my words. I don't understand why. But you get what I'm saying. Like, killer does not have help. They don't need help. You can be a blight upstairs. You're not worried about trapper not trapping enough the basement, and then people are on doing the traps. Like, well, trapper, what are you doing? And then y'all get into a fight for some reason. Like, you don't have to worry about that. But as survivor main, who can run a killer forever, I have to worry about somebody running no mither on my team who can't even loop. And you gotta think, like, these builds that people run as survivor, it's so frustrating because these are like the meme builds that would help if it was like a 4-stack. Because then mistakes can be made a little bit more because you have communication, which is a lot of people who do not have in solo queue. You get what I'm saying? Killer only has to rely on, so killer is faster and stronger and have powers. Killers does not get tired in chase. In fact, they get faster in chase. They get even faster than they've ever been because of the boosted bloodlust they got after 6.1.0 patch. Because I'm having people tell me that bloodlust does not matter, but it's only the killer mains that are saying that. That is what's really irritating me. Because it's like, if you just say, like, you ever heard a girl be like, if you're broke, just say that. Which is so stupid, by the way. That is so annoying. I hope y'all never heard that before. It's so stupid. Well, if you're a bot killer main, then just say that. Like, if you want to say, okay, I'm just trolling, or I know how it is for Survivor, but that's fine. At least I know that you're being real. But when you are literally trying to argue with me that bloodlust still has to be in this game and it got buffed with them reworking the maps, and killers is automatically fast. We're not the same speed. If we were the same speed, right, and we didn't have exhaust perks that make us faster, I can understand that when Windows didn't block, which is the purpose of having bloodlust. It was because the Windows never blocked after the 3 fast vaults. You would have a better argument. But the mere fact that these killers catch you for free. Dude, listen, I'm gonna get off on a tangent. I had a girl that had 390. She had 290 hours into DBD on Twitter trying to argue with me. She's the killer main. I'm like, what? She said, well, I don't need a lot of hours. I could just watch enough video. Are you serious? Yeah, I was that same survivor who was cocky in the beginning, right? Until I learned to play killer a bit, and then you just gets even better because, you should play both sides. You really should learn both sides. But I'm sorry, 290 hours? I can't even listen to a survivor man with 1,000 hours. And I'm not even trying to disrespect anybody who follow me. There's levels to this game of understanding, bro. Like, there's levels of playing both sides. 290 hours is not even enough. Like, she just got the game just now as I'm talking. She just got the game. Like she just got the game a minute ago. That's how many hours she has. And you're a killer main. So you don't even know how the game was back then. She was either a player that either barely played in 2016 and still playing now, or likely a newer killer man who's already corrupted with the mindset of, I'm supposed to get every kill. Every chase is supposed to be easy. Even though I win the game at 3 kills, I didn't get that last survivor who got hatched. I'm still going to be toxic to them anyway. There's a lot of killer men who do that. It's like, bro, you're not going to win. It's nice to have games that challenges you. Like, it's just, but anyway, I'm sorry for getting off on a tangent, but I need people to understand this logic, right? I'm not mad. Listen, I love my life. My life is pretty good. I mean, I got family things going on, some devastating things and things that are happening. And I'm trying to, and I like doing stuff like this, to take my mind off of it. But I look at it like this. I enjoy the game. Okay? I enjoy DBD. Is it my go-to game? It's my only game I play. I don't have any other game installed. I just play Dead by Daylight. That's it. But I want you guys to really understand that I can have an opinion, but there's also facts as well too. But I can have an opinion on how I feel about these things. You know what I mean? Like, I can have an opinion and a perspective. It doesn't mean that I'm taking this game so seriously that I'm gonna throw away my life savings over an argument. No. Yeah, I got my own money, got my own crib, good credit. Like, I'm living. Okay? Like, I'm content for now. Like, I still want more, and I'm still striving for more. But just understand, like, people can have an opinion, and we don't have to, like. And I would love like a healthy debate, but it does not have to be toxic. You know, like, I don't take anything outside of the game. I don't care. Like, I've had killers bleed me out, and it does not have to be this thing where we're just like very angry towards each other. It's just about having like a real dialogue with facts. I don't like to just talk and just have feelings about this stuff. Because a lot of times people say stuff like, I feel. But what you feel may not necessarily reflect reality. The devs literally made the game easier for a killer. And there are good killer mains like Hexy. He's so bored with the game. He has to try to be a survivor main now. Because it's too easy as killer. Oh, but there's people in his chat. Why don't you handicap yourself? Why don't you play with no perks? Why do he have to do that? He has a Wraith player, Prestige 100 on Wraith and, Claude. And please don't get me wrong. I understand that Prestige does not mean that you're skilled, but the guy has like 7,000 hours into this game. He's a legacy player on both sides. And he would dominate most of his games. And I'm talking about Swift bully squads. Because a lot of people don't seem to understand is that just because you are a bully squad does not mean you're going to bully every killer. You got killers who know that you're not going to be on gens. They're not stupid or a bot or brand new. Please do not take offense to either one of them. To sit here and try to keep picking up a survivor without looking around, knowing they have flashlights. Like, knowing they have flashlights, though. Like, okay, these last minute switch. You still not going to look around, dude? And you know, I played killer. Okay? I didn't do this. Like, I could have camped. I could have told I didn't do none of that. I still won like half my games. Am I saying that I was going against Hyman Mars survivors? No, I will not say this. But I want y'all to really understand that it takes some time into this game to understand how to play. And I cannot take somebody who have 290 hours, 290 hours into a game, try to tell somebody with 6,000 hours about DBD. Like, I have history in this game. I was playing this game where they had the hatch. They had a hatch with the keys, and everybody can just leave damn near, except for like one person, and a certain amount of gens had to be done. That old running animation. Like, I was part of that. I was part of the old map to, like, I know a lot of people who just playing DBD now, seeing Fractured Cowshed, but I was here when it was like kind of look, bland and darker. Like, that's how old I am into this game. And which means there was a lot of different styles of play and different perks, meta builds and stuff like that, where somebody who just got the game has never been a part of that. They don't understand how ODS worked. They don't understand that the devs literally made it easier by. It's one thing to talk about dead hard. You want to talk about what's hard and what's easy, and you gotta be more skilled and all that other crap. But the fact that they nerfed dead hard, DS and OTF, which is off the record, in game to where it don't even activate when the gates are powered. It doesn't even turn on anymore. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, if that does not, and that was in that patch of 6.1.0. I keep bringing that up. I want people, listen, if y'all don't know enough about that patch, I have a video. I'll try to link it. I'll try to link it for those who want to know. I would definitely link at the end of this. Because I think people need to be reminded that maybe there are newer killer mains. But here's the thing. Let's just be real. People are going to lie. People are going to act like it's not a big deal. I had the same girl was trying to say, well, how come Hens and other comp players don't complain about that? How come they don't talk about that? I don't want to speak on that, man. All I could tell you is that the facts are facts. That they kept Bloodlust, even though Tofu said that they should remove Bloodlust or rework it in a way, at the very least, where it's not the same as if we have infinites. Do y'all not understand that, like, what a true infinite is? Like, you can't just say, oh, well, if you chain this, you chain that in the different windows. Bro, infinites where they literally had it where you can take the same window over for life. It was called an infinite. It was literally called an infinite. And the reason why I bring up loops and chases is because you have to be really skilled. I know it don't take all skill to win in Dead by Daylight and on Killer or Survivor. There's things it's called RNG, you know, luck of, sometimes it's just random luck. Okay? I can be lucky and spawn on Ormans and I have balanced landing. That's 2 lucks because I have a good perk on a good build on a good map. Because, you know, I can abuse the house with balanced landing. I can run around. Or I can be a killer main and I could be Bubba and I could spawn right near the basement where a survivor is and just chainsaw them. That's bad RNG for the survivor, good RNG for me as a killer. Or I can have a good RNG as survivor and spawn near a totem that's lit. And it could have been Plaything, or it could have been Devour, or it could have been, you know, whatever. And I take it out. Bad RNG for killer, good RNG for survivor. It does not take all skill. But I want people to understand that just because you have a perk and a meta build and you watch a couple of streamers on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, it does not mean you're going to be able to do the same. Most survivors don't even do generators. They don't understand what breaking the 3-gen is. They don't understand how to prevent it. They just join to a match, and especially if you're playing solo queue. If you're playing solo queue, you might as well just count your loss. Okay, just count it as the L, because I'm sorry. Like I have killer mains that will literally say, and I know they're killer men because no survivor who played this game for real will ever say solo queue is easy. Like, if you want to say I have no expectations on Killer and Survivor, I don't care, I just play just to play and meme with my friends, then just say that. But don't sit here and say winning is easy. Like, what? Even if you're playing in Swift, if you're going against a Killer man who know what they're doing, that may not be easy. And if you're a Survivor man, you're playing against a Killer, it may not be easy if they know what they're doing, especially if you're playing with people you don't know, and if you have low MMR. You're at low MMR 9 times out of 10. No, 10 times out of 10, 11 times out of 10. That's not even real. If you are playing and mainling solo queue, you're at low MMR. That means you're getting newer killers, newer survivors. Even if you have 11K hours, you're at low MMR. It's not about your skill level. It's not about your, your mentality of the game and understanding of the game. It's just, this is how DBD works. They make it simply where, and this is what a lot of people had issues with the dev. I think Dowsy even said something about the devs as to why, because I guess one of the devs, the lead dev, Patrick, I think that's his name. Please do not quote me. I think that's his name. Where he literally compared it, winning and losing, to hockey. Like, those scored more goals and wins and stuff like that. You can't really do that in DBD. It's not that simple. It's not that cut and dry. I mean, how fair is it that you can run the killer for 10 minutes and everybody finishes the gym, but then you get camped with no ed and then you die, but then not only did they escape and they get more points, but the game basically said that they did better than you because they had more points. That's why, like, a lot of newer survivors would, like, if they trash talking, well, I have more points than you, even though I ran the killer for, like, I did the hardest job, ran the killer, and then you basically just AFK'd on gen and you got out and I died to no ed. A lot of killer mans will complain and get mad and upset because they will literally chase survivors all day, and they would get all these hooks, getting 8 hooks and all that stuff, almost 12. But yet survivor will still escape somehow, and then just because they didn't kill them all, it just looked like they still didn't score a lot of points or whatever. So a lot of people get mad at that as well. So I just want people to understand, like, it's just not that cut and dry. The way this game scores you is, as survivor, did you escape? I don't care what you done. Did you escape? Did you do everything? Did you do altruism? But did you escape? That's how you go up in MMR and you go low in MMR. I'm not talking about pips. I'm not talking about which I can get into that soon. But MMR is simply with killer and survivor. Just like killer. Okay, if you get a 1 kill, you lost the game. If you get no kills, you're not even a killer. You're just some dude with a scare that just looks scary, right? You're not even a killer. If you got no kills, like, what were you doing in an all match, right? But then, if you get 2 kills, okay, you broke even, right? You broke even. You don't have less Then you don't have too much less, but then you also don't have the same exact one. So you just pretty much you broke even. 2 kills, 2 survivors escape. Did you get 3 or more kills? If you get 3 kills or more, you basically won the game. Maybe one survivor got out and found hatch. That's kind of how that works. And with killer, if you get a 2K, it's pretty much like a null. You don't go up or down. If you get a less kills, you go down. If you get more than a 3K or a 3K, you go up in MMR. Does that make sense? And a lot of killer mains, they'll camp their way to like that. Like that's the thing too. A lot of killer mains will literally camp their way to like a lot of kills with baby survivors who don't understand that, hey, if this person's getting camped and they're not pressuring gens, let's just knock out gens and leave. Right? Because then when they go up against a team like that who understands the game, then they just pretty much lose and say the game is toxic and still surviving. But like, no, you can't play like a bot and think you're finna win every time. It just doesn't work like that. Lower MMR survivors will probably try to still go for the save in the basement against the Bubba. Like one guy was like, oh no, you can save against the Bubba. It's just like you gotta do it a certain way. Like again, not everybody is stupid or is a bot or brand new to the game. If you have Bubba and you can, like, no, that's not how it works, dude. It's just like I'm telling you about when it comes to looping. You think you're gonna continue to greed against every Wesker or against every space with this dumb hitbox? Sometimes you might have to be smart and just play safe and drop the pallet. Just like Clown. You know to pre-drop against him. It makes no sense to try to against a Clown who knows how. I'm talking about a Clown who knows how to play Clown. A Wesker who knows how to play Wesker. Like, you'll know the difference. Like, a lot of times you go against killer mains, they'll, again, they just want to throw down a bunch of slowdown to slow down gens because they're so afraid of gens popping, which means that they can just chase survivors all day. But the problem is, they don't understand is that you either A, get you a good build to counter chases, use BAM, use Enduring, so that way you don't get affected with pallet stuns as long. Maybe Spirit Fury, where I think it's where you she like eventually like the third pallet you throw down and she doesn't get stunned, it like breaks and stuff like that immediately. Dissolution, a survivor slides over a pallet, it breaks on them. Like, these are good chase builds, right? And you can get a killer that's pretty good at complementing these chase builds. When you just throw down a bunch of slowdowns, scourge hooks and all of this stuff and pop or eruption and all that other type of stuff, it's just so silly, because what y'all want to do is put a band-aid as how you play killer, as far as chasing survivors, and don't know how to end chase more quickly. You don't have chase builds, so you have a gen regression build, and you probably just don't know to just leave that survivor alone. Let that survivor live, man, and go chase after a weaker one. That was the problem. But see, no, killer could have always done this. Even with old Dead Hard, they could have always just said, okay, you know what? Not every survivor is good at chasing or connecting loops. If you know how to connect loop as survivor, that's like a higher level of looping, right? Because a lot of people think looping is just going around one circle all day. But higher level survivors understand, even I had to understand this, is that it's about mind gaming. If and again, this is not easy, by the way, Killer Man, this is not easy. If, let's say I'm at, I don't know, Auto Haven, right? I'm so tired, I'm gonna hold you. Say I'm at Auto Haven, right? And there is a loop outside. There's like a rock, and then there's a loop. There's a short loop, and then there's like a longer side. Tip to survivor mains, you always want to loop on the longer side, not the shorter side. If you drop the pallet, you always want to fast vote on the longer side than the shorter side. Because if you do it on the shorter side, killer can just go around and just easily hit you. But if you go on the longer side, it just takes a little bit more time, right? And you just waste your time. So it's all about mind game. Mind faking it, faking like you're about to drop, faking like you're about to vault the pallet, etc. But let's say there's a loop outside the shack with the wall, and like with the pallet, and then there's a window to shack, and then there's just a shack pallet there, etc. A lot of survivor mains who are probably not that experienced in looping and know how to chain loops is going to look to probably just loop shack all day, probably pre-drop pallet immediately, and try to get away. Survivors such as myself, who's experienced, will probably go in the shack, take that window, and then loop around that rock where there's a pallet to mind game, and then if I can like fake like I'm finna drop it, and then just keep running towards that window back into Shack, and then just do it all over again. So that's essentially chaining loops. That's how you chain loops. Okay, I had a bunch of bots likely come from Twitter talking trash, saying that, oh, I can't loop. Like, you can literally go to that video you can literally go back to that video of when I had $5,000. I did a video about that last year. Boy, I'm so sorry, so tired. But you can literally go to that video, and you'll see that I have all that in there. I know how to mind game, look behind me, all that stuff. I'm trying to teach people how to actually get better at Survivor. Because the way you get better at Survivor at the end of the day is to do the hardest thing, which is to know how to loop for a long time. As killer, you have to know how to end chases more quickly, and knowing how to prioritize which survivor to focus on and not focus on, and how to protect your 3-gen. I would get a killer who's good at teleporting or moving around the map and being more mobile. You don't want a killer that's weak in chase. You don't want a killer that's not that good at defending gens, especially a 3-gen. I don't have to be a killer man to tell you that. That is just obvious in logic. At some point into the game, I ain't gonna say it's obvious to the newest player, but once you learn this game, you play killer a bit, and you watch good killer mains like odds and stuff like that, you'll understand. Speaking of that too, it's so crazy to me because it just shows you how how a lot of killer mains don't play Survivor, or don't main Survivor. They play but they don't main it. Odds was on his stream not that long ago, and a Survivor main. No, yeah, I think maybe a Survivor, maybe killer. I don't know. Maybe they play both sides. Maybe they're neutral, but. They asked about what does the broken key do? Like, what does those keys do? And he was like, oh, Chet, don't worry about it. It doesn't really do too much. If you put on Blood Ember, you can see the killer, but it only lasts for 5 seconds. That's all he said. Here's the thing. No. What it does is that if you can, the broken key, if you were, thought, oh, it's useless because it's not as good as the purple or red key that can open up hatch. Those are the reasons why a lot of people use the keys. I mean, some people use it for the aura reading as well too, which is what I'm about to get into in a second. But a lot of people didn't even know that you can just pretty much use this key because the green key you cannot open up hatch, right? But first off, when he said so you can use Blood Ember, and you can see the killer's aura within 32 meters, but using it, you will use 100% of the key. But keep in mind, it depends on what key you're using and what add-ons you can use with that key, with that add-on. So what you would want to do with all of the keys, maybe you don't want to waste it with the purple key. The purple key is the weakest one now because of the fact that you can't even really, hatch does not spawn unless you're the only survivor now. It used to be I think it was 3. And not only that, they made it where there's a meter on the key, which is so stupid. Because think about it, if you're using the key for anything else but just hatch, you're going to be using that key's energy all day. So you probably want to, so now it's the meter, which means if you've been using that key and stuff like that, eventually, let's say if you don't have 100% of that key and you've been using it to do aura reading and stuff like that to see the killer's aura, likely you're going to not even have enough to even open up hatch. But what I'm saying is that the green key, when he said it's 5 seconds, no. The green key is 10 seconds without anything else. It's just 10 seconds. And if you use let me see. If you use the prayer rope, it adds 10 seconds to use of the key, which means that's a total of 20 seconds you can use with the Blood Amber. I wouldn't hold it and spam it all day. Just use it when you feel like it's necessary. And then if you use Prayer Beast, which is my favorite one, it gives you an extra 15 seconds, which means that 15 plus 10, that's 25 seconds total. But again, I don't expect him to know that completely because Ox is not a survivor man. He's a killer man. I'm not saying he's the bad survivor man, but it's just the fact that he didn't mention that. Yeah, think about it. These are probably newer survivors or newer killer players or whatever. And they just want to know these things. And a lot of people just think that he's just, a lot of people who, he's very knowledgeable of the game. He's been playing the game since 2017. He's very knowledgeable. But there's a difference between somebody who mains something and then just play it just to casually play it. And that's what I feel like a lot of killer mains do in this game is they'll say, oh, Survivor main's not that bad. It's playing solo queue. Yeah, but if you don't care about it, then you don't care if you lose. I could jump on killer right now. I don't care. I'll meme around all day. You can teabag. You can use flashlights. I don't care, right? Because I don't main it. I don't feel it. But there's a difference between you maining something and just casually playing something. I main Survivor. It's not fun to know how to loop killer all day just to see people in the basement looking for a med kit or looking for anything stupid. That's not fun because you know you can't run a killer all day the way they got bloodlust and stuff like that and the way we work these maps. But if you an elite survivor, you know how to get around these things and mind game, etc. But eventually you're gonna lose all these resources of pallets. Give me 1 second. You're gonna lose all of these resources and pallets at some point at a cost. And the only thing you can hope as Survivor is that people are trying to get one step closer to open up them gates. But how do they do that? They had to power the gens, which means they have to do what? Knock out generators. Whereas killer, you can just chase all day. You can choose to kick gens or not. It doesn't matter. Like, good killer mains don't even have to really kick gens as much, and it makes sense. Y'all will kick gens and stop it, and I get it. Like, y'all have gens regression builds. But if you know how to chase Survivor and you just get them out the game, who cares? They're not going to get the gens done anyway. Because a lot of them suck in chase. Like, I feel like a lot of killers do not understand how bad a lot of the survivors are in chase. They don't. Like, they really don't. And that's why you still see 100% blood point bonus for Survivor. Because a lot of people don't want to even play Survivor. A lot of people really, since 6.1.0 patch, they do not want to play Survivor. They just don't. Like, I'm just being real with you. I am sorry, I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta get up in the morning. It's already like 1 a.m. and I get my hair cut at 10, so I got like 9 hours, not even, to like get up and leave and stuff like that. But it's fine. I'll do what I gotta do. I'm gonna upload this tonight for the morning and stuff like that for those who watch it. You know, I know there's people who've been, you know, riding to work in New York and stuff like that, and you know, I hope they enjoy it. You know, because you know I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. But I just think that like killers do not appreciate that because they think they see a bunch of flashlight users and you know flashlights. People already know how I feel about flashlight. I think it's the stupidest thing in the game, right? And I even heard and I just want to tell this to killers too before I name you know like a streamer who said this, but please stop chasing one survivor all day, dude. I remember I think it was Scott Jun that said one time. I think chat had to like correct him on it, but like he was like, yeah, you want to get the good survivor out the game first, and no, that's not it. You want to chase the bad survivors out the game and zone out and leave the one survivor that's good for free. So like for example, right? Let's say you go against me, which good luck by the way, right? But let's say you see me in chase. You see me in a lobby, you're gonna go after me in chase. And you better hope you're not on a good survivor map. But let's say you know you go against me, you see me in the lobby, I got my P100 Nia. Okay, if you know for like within 10 seconds that it look like I know what I'm doing in chase, just go after somebody who look like they don't know what they're doing in chase. It's that simple. Like it's literally that simple. I can't make it any simpler than that. You'll literally know within like 10-15 seconds in the chase if a survivor look like they know what they're doing. Locate the weakest link and go after them and get them out the game immediately. You'll immediately be able to get points. You'll be able to get a kill faster. It is what it is. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just how this game. I feel like this game forced me to get good. It forced me. Because it's either you don't play or you just stay getting like caught within 10-15 seconds. You know, dropping a pallet and then send a killer coming after you, then you quickly fast on the other side and the killer just meet you there and just hit you. Like, or you camp a pallet and the killer just hurry up and swing because they know you're camping the pallet back there. Like, literally, learn how to loop. Okay? You have to learn how to loop. You have to learn how to do all of those things. But all I can tell you is do not chase one survivor all game long. Okay, that's how y'all get ran for 5 gens. I heard somebody was on Twitter like, I'm sorry that y'all can't run killers for 5 gens. Like, I'm going to tell you what's so stupid about that, right? Because there was a lot of killers who got mad at that. They'd be like, you're not supposed to run this for 5 gens. Like, because it was really for that 6.1.0 patch. You're not supposed to run this for 5 gens. You're not supposed to... Bro, not every killer was getting ran for 5 gens. Just you and other bot killer mains were getting ran for 5 gens. You think everybody could just run every killer main for 5 gens? There's 2 things you're doing wrong. You're not that good in chase. You probably got like a gen regression build versus a chase build. Or you just focusing on chasing one good survivor when you can just chase other survivors, get them out the game, get a 3K at the very minimum, or zone them out and you could probably still be able to get that 4K. I mean, again, keep this in mind. You can leave a good survivor main alone and then go after the other ones. And yeah, it could be, well, what if they're all good, right? Then you just have to get good at the game. I don't know what to tell you, bro. You have to get good at the game. But what I'm saying is that if you left that good survivor main alone and you went after somebody else and you went after other people, now you got 3 people on the ground or on the hook, they all death hook. Listen, hatch is RNG. I mean, unless you bring like, you know, the alternate, a native something type of offering where it's a hatch offering for shack, it'd be on the outside of shack, or it's the one that'll be in main building, right? So these are offerings that, just in case, if you know, like 11 times out of 10, I said 11 times out of 10, you're gonna lose in solo queue. You're probably gonna need hatch. So I would just use that, right? Is 9 times out of 10, bro. It's just like I don't know. Like, you can just catch that survivor and it's RNG. It doesn't mean that just because you didn't get all survivor out of 4 that mean that you sucked or anything like that. No, it just means that you was playing smart and said, well, let me find the weak link and let me zone this person out. And hatches, again, RNG. So just because you leave that last survivor, man, let's say me, doesn't mean I'm automatically gonna get the door or get hatched. You can still catch me. At the end, it's just this 50-50 iffy. You know what I mean? So I just think that when people think it's like so easy, it has to be just killer mains just trolling or just talking just to be talking. I'm almost done here too. I don't need to get into solo queue and comms. You know how solo queue is. Solo queue is real simple. It is a nightmare, dude. You know it is a nightmare. You get to play by yourself. I want killers to understand. Like if you were a survivor man and you just started playing killer, I promise you will start to appreciate playing killer. Because you will, I'm talking about like let's say like me, right? Let's say I decided to play killer. The fact that you can have your 4 perks only, your 4 perks, and you only have to worry about your style of play. Whether you're going to be a camper, whether you're going to be a tunneler, whether you're going to be a D-head killer who gives nopers after every down, whether you're going to try to defend your 3-gem. Maybe you get a Myers, you want to play fun and be fun and be in Lyries and, you know, have an aura reading build, or, you know, Midwich. Maybe you're going to be Bubba. Maybe you're going to be a pig and be nice and let people pitch you on the head. You know, I like to boop the pig like with a pallet, if that's okay. Not farming, by the way, just like dropping her off in chase. So I like doing that too, right? That's just different, man. You know, it's just real simple to me. Like we know how it is in solo queue. Solo queue, you need to have comms. You could be the only person on your team, and it could be 3 other people who's in a lobby, and you're just like goofing around. They don't care. Meanwhile, anytime I play, I'm playing to win. Well, it's kind of hard when you got 3 survivors out of 4 who want to just F around, and you're the only one who's trying to win, right? Or they're just doing some stupid stuff. And then like when you get killed in the beginning, and you go and look at the POV, and you just see them just all standing still. But that's what this game is. Again, this game does not reward you on how long you ran the killer. It rewards you on, or punish you. It rewards you if you won the game and escaped. It punish you if you did all of that hard work but died anyway. Did you win or did you lose? Okay, so now you're going to get worse teammates when you lose. Okay, you might get slightly better or the same teammates if you win. It's that simple. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling or sometimes losing my train of thought. I'm just really tired. And again, lower hours, dude. There are people who just got like low hours, dude. Like there are people like the girl who have 290 hours. She's trying to argue with me about the game. I mean, I'm glad that she loved the game. I'm not trying to knock her, but it's just like there's just so much into this game that you just do not understand at 290 hours. It's hard to take somebody with 1,000 hours seriously, 500 hours, right? Because it takes so much understanding. Mind you, she was trying to, that girl was trying to say all kinds of stuff like, you mostly have them hours in Survivor. Like, girl, what do you know? You just got the game today. Like right now, as I'm talking, she's learning. Like you just got it. Be quiet. Okay? I'm sorry, dude. My throat get very dry when I'm like, talking a lot. So we're talking about looping and low hours and solo queue and yeah, and pimping is very hard. I mean, like I want you to understand this too. Pimping is not easy. Pimping or pipping is not easy. Basically, like you gotta understand. Like as killer, you get a lot of your boldness, you get a lot of your points from just like playing killer. I'm talking about just chasing. Your near survivors that's bold, or whatever that's called for killer. That's if it's not boldness, it's something. But like, cause obviously survivor is bold, but killer they get those chase points at when they're pipping, just chasing survivor, just going after them, hooking them. Even if they don't get all 4 kills, they still chase them. Is like all killer have to do is just chase and kick gens and hook. That's all I have to do. I'm not saying it's easy to catch these survivors, but just understand, just chasing them, you will be able to get those. As a survivor, like just so I'm clear, you just have to kill as killer. As a survivor, there's just multiple ways to survive. Whether you are good in chase, such as myself, whether you are more optimal in doing generators, you're a gen jockey. Whether you are very altruistic, whether you are like never getting hooked or just escaping the match. There's so many things and nuances that go into that. Because one, if you are a survivor, man, and your team rely on you in chase, and they're not knocking out gens, or the killer leaves me and go chase them, and they don't last long in chase, you're screwed. If you got survivor mans who and you're trying to heal survivor, but they're not that good in chase, so you always gotta leave a gen to try to heal them, or you just know if you don't heal them at all, you're just gonna die, you lose. If you don't have time to do gens because you're in chase all day, you're gonna probably lose. Because when I'm not in chase, I'm doing gens. I'm not effing around. And if you are trying to escape, you already know how that goes. The devs made the game where killer's gonna win like at least 60% of the time. That's just how it is. So just trying to get all those points, it's just not easy because there's so many things that go into that. And you have to rely on each other. Versus as killer, you just rely on yourself. You don't have to rely on other people's F up or success. You don't have to rely on that. You just have to just chase and kill. That's why I say if you lose the game, that's on you, man. That is literally on you. It is not on anyone else. That is on you. Maybe you chose a Wraith and you were in Ormond, or you was on the game, right? Or maybe you didn't play as Nurse or Blight and Spirit and stuff. The 3 most irritating killer in the game outside of like Skull Merchant and Night players. Maybe that is the case. But all I can tell you, man, is that it's just about learning and understanding the game. I'm not trying to knock killer and say it's easy, but I just think it's easier. Especially after the buff and stuff like that. Like the fact that people are still trying to argue with me is just crazy on that. Like the dev literally said they wanted killers to perform better. Like they said that. Like what? How are y'all arguing? Again, I don't want to hear this. Like I hate when people go like I'm not just because I'm a man, but I want people to understand this. Be logical and be factual. You can't just go off what you feel. Like I feel may not represent necessarily reality. You can't say things like I feel that survivors are, more stronger because they have this, but literally the devs have made the game easier when it comes to buffing up bloodlust, when it comes to reworking these maps to making it easier for killer, when it comes to reworking these killers like Sadako to making her stronger to where you pretty much have to rely and react with the tape, which is just going to hit you and have Franklin's, and you're going to lose the tape, and then it's going to be where you're going to have that add-on where you can't even see where the TVs are. Just keeping killers like Knights and Skull Merchants into the game, making the community even worse to play, because you would never convince me in this game that people want to have more fun than winning. It's why you see meta builds on both sides. It's why you see meta killers on killer man. It's a reason why you see it. People want to dominate. That's why you'll rarely see Bubba. That's why you'll rarely see Billy's. That's why you will rarely see these fun killers. You go against nothing but Skull Merchants, Knights, Legions, Weskers, which Weskers to me is not that bad. I like actually going against Weskers. I just hate that his hitbox is like really stupid. It's why you rarely see certain killers, right? Because they want something that's very easy. Now, some people may take offense to this, and that's fine, but I'm just being honest. So I kind of wanted to just talk to you guys about that today. I'm pretty much going to end it here because I'm very tired. It's basically an hour now. I just got like a minute left. Sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just tired, man. My anxiety is killing me, so I'm tripping over my words. I hope you guys understand that. But I love making these. It's actually pretty fun. I like having a voice, and I hope that these do better than what they're doing. I'm gonna still try to include some of that stuff, even though like the clip the video I'm gonna put in there may be old. So you may see there's some like bot looping and stuff like that. But I really want to put like what 6.1.0 patch did. I really want to put that in the back of the description of this video, so that way you guys can learn, for those who do not know, or just be reminded of what the devs literally did. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoy doing things like this. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. Roll to 2,000 subs. I know I'm always saying it, but we will get there, man. I love doing these. They're fun. I love my community, so I appreciate you guys sticking around. But hey, if nothing else, stay safe. Have a blessed day out here, and peace.